The cameras flashed. The crowd froze. I mean, the stakes honestly couldn't have been higher. A 53-year championship drought on the line in a hostile Texas arena. But when the Jumbotron lit up, the 2026 NBA Finals shifted on a dime. And just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Yeah, it was the exact moment the broadcast completely derailed. Like, the game was happening on the floor, but the entire cultural conversation suddenly just pivoted to the third row.
Welcome to Starscope Report. Join us as we uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today we're doing a deep dive with a really fascinating stack of sources. We've got sports reports, celebrity gossip columns, and even an apparel history guide. We're using all of this to analyze the massive YouTube headline, Sydney Sweeney just broke the NBA Finals.
Right, and we are going to unpack exactly how a single courtside appearance collided with a 150-mile ticket blockade, a Taylor Swift controversy, and the evolution of high-fashion sportswear. So, stick with us because it gets wild.
It really is the ultimate modern crossover event. And to understand why this specific moment broke the internet, we don't need to get bogged down in the play-by-play, but we do need to, recognize the pressure cooker of the environment. Game 5 of the final.
Oh, absolutely.
The New York Knicks are trying to close out the series against the San Antonio Spurs and win their first title since 1973.
Right. The tension in the Frostbank Center is just suffocating. And right in the middle of this legacy-defining game, the broadcast cameras pan to the crowd. And there sits actress Sydney Sweeney.
Yep, just casually sitting there.
Exactly. She's 3 rows back, wearing this, curve-hugging, cropped New York Knicks No 11 baby tee, obviously a nod to Jalen Brunson, paired with dark blue denim. Her hair is perfectly styled. I mean, she looks like she belongs on a red carpet, but she is sitting in a sweaty, high-stakes basketball arena in Texas.
And the broadcast booth completely loses its collective mind. I mean, Charles Barkley is doing the live coverage on ESPN's Inside the NBA, and he just drops all pretense of sports analysis.
Yeah, totally lost it.
He did. His voice literally cracks. He stares at his monitor and yells, "Sydney Sweeney is here. Everybody's a New York Knicks fan now." It was such a genuine, unscripted moment of just stunned disbelief.
And his co-host, Ernie Johnson, couldn't even get through his next segment because he was laughing so hard at Barkley's sheer panic. Which is funny in the booth, but, the internet's reaction was intensely divided.
Oh, for sure. It got messy fast.
Social media basically turned into a digital battlefield. You had reports of fans at sports bars literally booing the television screen in unison when her face popped up. Online trolls were screaming in all caps, "You're from Washington and haven't been to a basketball game in your life."
Which is, by the way, factually incorrect. She's actually been attending Knicks games for several seasons.
Really?
Yeah. She actually procured these Game 5 tickets as a surprise for her boyfriend, the music executive Scooter Braun. And that's specifically why they weren't sitting in the ultra VIP courtside section with the other A-listers. They were a few rows back because she bought them on the secondary market.
See, I love that detail. It completely flips the narrative of the, pampered celebrity just showing up for the cameras. But it brings up a really fascinating analytical question.
Okay, was it?
Why do sports fans gatekeep their teams so aggressively? It reminds me exactly of indie music snobs. That type, "Oh, you like this band? Name their first 3 underground EPs." Is it really fair to call her a bandwagon fan when she's been going to games for years?
Well, it exposes a really specific quirk of hardcore sports fandom. For the diehards, suffering is a currency. Fans view their team's misery, especially a 53-year drought like the Knicks had, as a badge of honor.
Right, like they've earned the victory.
Exactly. They feel like they have psychologically earned the right to celebrate by enduring decades of terrible draft picks. So when a celebrity shows up at the finish line looking flawless, the hardcore fans feel like their gritty, hard-earned identity is being, co-opted for an Instagram aesthetic.
It's super territorial, which makes the reaction of people like Barstool Sports' Dave Portnoy so incredibly ironic.
Oh, the Portnoy tweet was wild.
It really was. He jumps into the fray online and slams people for objectifying Sweeney, essentially telling the trolls to stop being creeps. But then, in the exact same breath, he criticizes her outfit, questioning if the collar on her baby tee is ridiculous, and asking if she's wearing the shirt backwards.
It's the ultimate contradiction of, sports bro culture colliding with high fashion. He's trying to defend her honor, but he just can't help but police her aesthetic.
Right.
It just highlights how completely unprepared the traditional sports ecosystem is for a viral fashion moment. They don't know how to process a curated look at a space usually reserved for oversized replica jerseys and face paint.
But Sweeney's viral moment was actually just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you hear the insane, aggressive lengths the Spurs went to keep New York fans out and how Taylor Swift accidentally started this whole fake fan paranoia.
Yes, because this instinct to gatekeep didn't start with Sydney Sweeney in Game 5. Barkley was already primed to be defensive.
Oh, right, the Cardi B thing.
It's exactly. Barkley was already unapologetic for calling out Cardi B earlier in the playoffs. And then Taylor Swift showed up to Game 4 at Madison Square Garden.
And she wasn't wearing traditional Knicks gear, right? She was wearing like a Stevie Nicks t-shirt.
Yeah, a Stevie Nicks tee. And this completely triggers broadcaster Monica McNutt, who gets caught on a hot mic saying, "She's not a Knicks fan. Get out of here, girl."
Oh, wow. Which is just a catastrophic error in judgment in the year 2020. I mean, you do not poke the Swifties. That is a highly mobilized digital army.
They are absolutely ruthless. The Swifties immediately flooded social media with receipts. They dug up the entire history. It forced McNutt to issue a very humbling public apology the very next day.
I remember that. She had to go on air and admit she was wrong.
Yeah, she said, "Swifties, I appreciate your passion." And it turns out Swift actually owns an OG Amari Stoudemire jersey and has been a fan for over a decade.
What's fascinating here is that Charles Barkley watched his colleague get absolutely dismantled by a pop star fan base in Game 4, and his immediate reaction in Game 5 is to challenge the Euphoria fan base by questioning Sydney Sweeney. It's like they literally cannot help themselves.
It's this generational rigidity. Barkley genuinely can't fathom that massive pop culture icons actually care about the game. But they do. And more importantly, their presence and the massive influx of New York fans they represented completely terrified the San Antonio Spurs organization.
And this is where the cultural gatekeeping turns into literal geographical gatekeeping, because the Spurs front office saw the celebrity power and the sheer volume of Knicks fans taking over Game 4. They knew Game 5 in Texas could easily be overrun, so they attempted to build a digital moat.
That's the perfect way to describe it, a digital moat. San Antonio enforced a strict geographical ticket blockade via Ticketmaster. The site was programmed to automatically cancel any order made by a resident living outside a 150-mile radius of the arena.
I want to break down how that actually works, because it sounds like science fiction, but it's real. A geofence like that relies on verifying the buyer's IP address and the billing zip code attached to their credit card at the point of sale.
Right, so if your zip code is out of state, you're done.
Exactly. If your billing address is in Manhattan or Brooklyn or even Dallas, the system just rejects the transaction. They legally tried to ban out-of-towners from entering the arena.
It's an incredibly aggressive corporate move, but here's the thing, it completely backfired. Despite the blockade, affluent New York supporters just exploited the secondary markets.
Oh, because StubHub and SeatGeek don't care about your zip code.
Exactly. The original buyer in San Antonio passes the zip code check, buys the ticket, and immediately flips it online. The arena scanners only read the barcode, so the digital moat was completely useless. Knicks fans ended up occupying an estimated 54% of the arena.
Over half the building. A reporter noted that Knicks fans were audibly booing the Spurs starters during the pregame intros in their own building.
It's wild. And the staggering celebrity roster that infiltrated Texas didn't help. You had Spike Lee, obviously, hoping to witness the first ring since the 73 one he wears. Timothée Chalamet, Fat Joe, John Turturro, Giancarlo Esposito.
Not to mention franchise legends like Patrick Ewing and Allen Houston. And then you have the truly surreal details, like Ben Stiller was reportedly sitting courtside, filming a documentary entirely on his iPhone.
Just holding his phone up for the whole game?
Yeah, and Prince Harry randomly showed up, fifth in line to the British throne, flying to Texas for Game 5. You really cannot script this.
You really can't. And hey, if you're loving these Hollywood twists and courtside dramas, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories coming up.
Because Sydney Sweeney's curve-hugging crop top wasn't just a random fashion statement. It was actually the climax of a 100-year evolution of the basketball jersey.
Yeah, let's pivot to the outfit itself. Because to understand why her look sparked so much debate, we have to explore how the uniform evolved from functional gear to a pop culture canvas.
Right, so let's do a rapid-fire history. If you go back to the early 1900s, players were wearing heavy wool tops, flannel trousers, and padded shorts.
Whoa, that sounds like absolute torture in a gym.
Total nightmare. But by the 1940s and 50s, synthetic nylon blends came around. That allowed for shorter shorts and tight sleeveless tops, making it much more practical.
And for a long time, it stayed utilitarian. But in the 90s, the jersey morphed from athletic wear into a storytelling device. This was the era of the big suppliers champion, then Reebok, Adidas, and Nike.
Oh, yeah, the 90s jerseys were iconic.
Right. But the real game changer was modern sublimation printing and four-way stretch fabrics. Sublimation basically uses heat to permanently dye the fibers instead of just painting heavy ink on top. It allows for these intricate city-inspired designs that represent neighborhoods and civic pride.
Here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. Think about it. Wearing a sports jersey used to be just about utility. Now it's like wearing a designer label or making a political statement. It's a curated aesthetic choice.
Exactly. And that brings it right back to Sweeney. Her tailored, body-skimming No 11 baby tee wasn't just a jersey. It was a curated red carpet look brought to the hardwood.
She used it as a tool for mass customization.
Yes. She proved that the jersey is now entirely customizable, blurring the lines completely between the runway and the sports arena. It was high fashion masquerading as fan gear.
And that's the ultimate takeaway here. The Knicks didn't just break a 53-year curse. Their victory became the ultimate crossover event. The young Spurs team might have choked under the pressure, but the real story was how a basketball game turned into a pop culture phenomenon.
Totally. It was driven by fashion, internet outrage, and just sheer celebrity power.
It really leaves you with something to ponder. If a single celebrity in a cropped jersey can temporarily eclipse a historic 53-year championship narrative in the social media sphere, what does that mean for the future of live sports?
That's a great question.
Are we still watching a basketball game, or have arenas just become the world's most aggressive 150-mile blockaded red carpets?
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.